Hey guys, welcome back to the Peru Travel Podcast. I'm your host, David Kozlowski. Alongside of me is Charlie Thompson. Today we're going to be talking about what is in our bag on the way to Peru. Charlie, you excited about this episode?
I am excited about this episode because I have the same question. What are you putting in the bag?
That's right. Well, hopefully we can answer that. And today we're actually sharing a mic, so there might be some slight pauses back and forth because Charlie seems to have forgotten his mic, which is kind of a bummer because I have to be really close to him. But other than that, I guess it's okay.
Let me clear this up. I didn't forget my mic. I forgot the cable necessary to transport your voice from a mic to a computer. That's what I forgot.
Yeah, what a shameful display. Anyways, what we're going to do is break down a couple things that are in my bag on the way to Peru. As always, we're actually heading to Peru in a couple days, so hopefully we get this out before we go to Peru. But this Wednesday coming up, we're going to be taking off to Peru. And Lima is obviously our first stop. Following that, we're going to be heading to Cusco. So a couple things that I like to pack that I recommend everyone brings on their trip to Peru. This is my list right here. So the first thing that I like to pack to Peru, just like anywhere else in the world, is seriously baby powder. And I know that's like a very weird thing for some people, and some people maybe really like it. I personally use the medicated version. It gives me a nice little cool feeling downstairs, if you know what I mean. But the reason for this is really because I got thick thighs, okay? There's a song I heard back in the day. It was like, hips too thick for the sidewalk. Well, my thighs are too thick for the sidewalk. So I pack baby powder. That way my legs aren't crunching together. And I'm pretty sure there's like a speed stick you can wear as well in between your thighs. Let them go back and forth. We have to ask a cross-country runner for that. But that's what I'm going to be bringing. And I highly recommend you bring it as well.
So, David, you got any good stories where you haven't brought baby powder and what happened?
I don't want to get into that conversation. It ends up really bad and your legs have a nice, beautiful rash on them. So baby powder on the list. That's the first one.
Take it from David. Don't have the same experience that he has that he doesn't even want to share on the air. So take it from him. Bring baby powder.
Yeah, and on top of that, the second one, as we move past the baby powder topic, is facial wipes. And I know that's kind of another one that's like, well, yeah, obviously I clean my face, sure. But there might be times in Peru where, one, you might not have access to clean water right away. That's a possibility. Not always if you're in the city. But another one is because the smog in Lima is actually pretty dramatic compared to anywhere else in the United States. And I hear a lot of people talk about LA and like the smog there. I've been to LA. I've been to Phoenix, Arizona. Like there's smog in these places. However, Lima really doesn't have a control on that yet, at least in my experience. And so when I woke up in the morning, I realized there was a ton of fog. And after conversing with a couple friends, I realized that smog is just like a really big deal. So, or there rather. So I bring face wipes. I mean, I found myself kind of cleaning my face once or twice a day, actually, even without my morning and night ritual. And it's not so much that I'm cleaning it to scrub it. It's more just, to feel fresh, I guess, if you will.
So it's not like, I mean, you're not going to feel like smog is caked on your face, right? But it's more so that, you're breathing the stuff in. It is getting on your skin to feel fresh. That's kind of why you're advocating that, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one reason. I think on top of that, though, really, I mean, I'm pulling a film off once in a while. Really, like throughout the day, I'll have like black soot on my face and you just want to clean it. And really, when you're hiking as well, if you're going to Cusco and you do Rainbow Mountain, if you go see a small village or whatever the case is, like you're hiking, you're dirty, you're going to want to clean it. Everywhere I've been that I'm working kind of in a sense, like I'm moving to get somewhere physically, I'm always going to kind of want to wash my face roughly here and there.
So face wipes, don't forget those. What is up next in your bag, Dave?
So the next one on my bag goes without any explanation. It's money. I feel like a lot of people tend to travel and they don't bring cash or currency. I think that's the dumbest thing you can do. And I know people bring like the currency I bring American USD. The reason I do that is because when I get to the airport, the location that I'm going, I'll do the currency exchange there. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do the currency exchange at the airport. There sometimes are better rates, obviously, elsewhere. But that's just my recommendation. Bring some cash. When you arrive at a place, USD is primarily taken everywhere. But Lima in particular, I know that as soon as I'm there, I can usually say, hey, I'll give you like $10, $20 to take me to the specific place or the hotel that I'm going to. So cash is definitely a must. Bring cash.
And you can use international travel cards too. I know some people are afraid like, oh, if I've got cash on me, people could steal it, things like that. We're not talking like bring a suitcase of money here, right? This is bring some cash. You never know when you could possibly need it. Like David said, pretty much everywhere takes the United States dollar. or if you're from Europe, the euro transfers pretty easily as well. So bring some cash. You can use those credit cards too. Make sure you check. There's several credit cards out there with no foreign transaction fees. So if you're going to bring one of those.
Definitely. I think a credit card is obviously a good choice. I will say that if you have a bank, a checking bank, that doesn't do a foreign transaction fee, that's probably the best way to go. I do know that some people, I ran into this issue when I was in Peru actually, and it was only here. My friend had a credit card that was MasterCard or was Visa, and I had a MasterCard, and for whatever reason, I was getting way worse rate and exchange rate, than he was. And so he would buy something that was, say $10, and I'd be charged $12. And it really was frustrating, if you can imagine, looking at his credit card statement compared to mine. I'm like, how come I paid way more than you? And it really came down to MasterCard had a worse deal than Visa did at the time that we went there. So, and those rates fluctuate, obviously, but that's something to be wary of at the beginning. Is like, if you have a way of pulling out money with no foreign transaction fee, that definitely is a good way of going. The next one on my list is not really something that you pack in your bag, rather you pack it on your phone, and that is Google Translate. And unless you're like some beautiful Spanish speaker, and that is not me. I know poquito español, like seriously very little, but I can still get around because I use the Google translation app. I basically downloaded the book onto my phone, and anytime that I have a question in Spanish, I'll basically type it in English and I'll butcher it to tell them the way that I perceive it to be. And in worst case scenario, I'll just show them my app and say, hey, this is what I'm asking you, or this is what I'm looking for. Because not everyone speaks not everyone speaks English in Peru, and you have to be okay with that. I know that a lot of Americans, typically when they travel, they want places that speak English. I promise you, don't be scared. It's still an amazing place, and people are willing to help you and be patient to help you. Get the app, though. It'll make things a lot faster than trying to decipher what people are trying to say.
Or what if did you see that new earpiece that came out that allows, like, it translates in like real time? I can't remember what the name of the device is, but if you could get one of those, I mean, how badass would that be? But if you're not using one of those, then Google Translate is a great idea. I mean, I've even had to use it in the US before. If you go to places like Miami and things like that, there's several people there that don't speak English. So it's just a great tool to have that helps you communicate to get where you need to go. Maybe even if you need help or you need to order some type of food or whatever it is. The internet's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get an earpiece if you got the capital. I go with the free version. It takes me 2 seconds to type something up. That is an option. I've heard about it. I've never seen it. I don't even know how much it costs. I know that I've heard random things about it. The last one on my list, second to last one on my list is Pepto-Bismol tablets. And I think this is kind of a weird one. I'm not a doctor and I won't tell you what to do and what not to do. But my travel physician actually has told me that, all right, let me break this down. Street food is awesome, okay? And if anybody's scared to try street food, I apologize, but you should totally try the street food. Just as soon as you're done eating and consuming the food, make sure you take 2 Pepto-Bismol tablets, because supposedly, in theory, that kills everything. And I've said this before on another podcast episode, but that is something that I can't stress enough that probably saved my butt in Peru multiple times, because I wanted to try, cow heart, or I wanted to try guinea pig, and I guess I would assume that they cook it perfectly, right? But in the off chance that doesn't sit well with my stomach, Pepto-Bismol eradicates any problems that I could potentially have.
And we don't need to get into the nitty-gritty details of what chemicals in Pepto-Bismol, because no one really cares about that. But just know that there is a chemical in there that does, if you eat it within 30 minutes of eating something that you think might not settle well on your stomach, you pop that Pepto-Bismol and it will kill everything that's in there. This is not, medical advice. We're not doctors here, so consult with your physician. But take it from experience. Again, try all the street food you can possibly imagine. Pop a Pepto.
First of all, I think that's going to be the new slogan for Pepto-Bismol. Pop a Pepto. That's the other thing I was going to point out is that when you had you were like, we don't need to go into details as to what happens. I was like, oh God, he's going to talk about diarrhea on the show. Like, here we go. This is the time. So my last one on here is very quick and easy. It is bring a good attitude. We've said it in blog posts. We've said it in podcasts. Bring a good attitude. Be ready for an adventure, because when you get off that airplane to Lima, it's going to seem crazy. It's going to seem nuts. And unless you speak Spanish, which again, I don't, it's going to be kind of like a new world to you a little bit. And that's part of the excitement of travel. I have so many friends, and we'll do a podcast about this, but they're like, I wish I could do what you do. And I'm literally blown away by that response. Like, what do you mean? Well, we just don't speak the language. We've never been to a foreign country. We've never done X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, dude, it's not that hard. Like, it's really easy, actually. You just got to make the leap, make the jump. So have a positive attitude, be ready for an adventure, and just keep your head on, because I promise you're going to be in for a real treat, especially when you get off that airplane and start seeing all the commotion, the hustle and bustle of Lima. And if you get over to Cusco, it's obviously a lot of history there. And I definitely think you'll have a great time, obviously.
I might go on a little bit of a rant here, but you bring up a very good point, Dave, to the people that respond to you that way, like, oh, like, we've never been outside the country, we don't speak the language, things like that. Like, that's what holds most people back from traveling or doing anything they want to really do in life, is that fear, that risk factor that you're not willing to dive in. So take this advice. This is, a different take on what's in the bag aside from your typical socks and underwear and things like that. You already know to bring those things. These are the outside the box, if you will, experience from David Kozlowski himself to put in the bag for Peru.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm glad we were able to do that and hopefully help you guys out. Again, if you're looking to book your trip for Peru, hit us up on kachilife.com. We can definitely help you guys out. If you have any questions, email us, kachilife.com, info@kachilife.com. And just head on over to the site. There's a lot of great stuff, a lot of great information. There's blog posts. You can shoot us an email, like I had said, if you have any questions. If you're filling out the form and you're still like confused about, I want to do this possibly, or you want a custom trip, guess what? We got you covered. We can do custom trips as well. Just shoot us an email, and we'll hopefully can take care of you. All right. If not, we'll put you in the right direction. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.